Greetings! Welcome to Wild Fox Writing. I'm Blair.
And I'm Evangeline.
And today we will be talking about balancing reading and writing.
Which is something we both do poorly, so this will be fun.
Yeah!
Greetings! We are aliens from planet Merp. Oh, wait, no. That was our other podcast. No, we're teen authors.
I'm Blair Wild, and my favorite animal is pigs.
I'm Evangeline Fox, and I'm actually a person.
No, but actually, we're high schoolers who like torture ourselves by writing thousands of words each day. So we figured we'd torture you too.
You're listening to Wild Fox Writing, where we talk about everything writing, reading, and books. Enjoy!
Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to talk about balancing reading and writing. Today we will be talking about balancing reading and writing.
Which neither of us do great, so
We do terribly.
we will not be practicing what we preach. But this is hypothetically how you could possibly balance reading
This
and
is the advice we will give to you, but we will not be following.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe we will. Maybe we'll start following it from now on.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll just tell you what we do and then you can do the opposite of that.
Or we could come back a year later, listen to our advice, and then be like, maybe I should do that. You know?
We were wise once upon a
Yeah.
time. Now we have read 50 books and wrote 0.
Yeah. So true.
Good old days when we were young and still writing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do you do, Blair, now?
Personally. So I have these 3 modes I will go through.
Yeah.
I will have this mode where I'm very motivated to write. And I will write a lot every day. I will write a lot. And I'll get my book done. So this is good because this is my career goals here.
Yeah.
So that's like mood or time 1. Then we move on to the reading zone.
Yes.
Where I read a bunch of books all in a row, cramming a lot of books. And then we go into the I don't want to read and I don't want to write and I'm just going to sit and do nothing zone.
That's like the longest lasting thing.
Yeah, it can last a long
Unfortunately.
time. The writing one can last up to a month, and the reading one can last like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
But-
which is kind of a month.
Yeah, basically a month.
Depending
like,
on the month.
I can't read and write at the same time. Because if I try to start reading when I'm writing, I will either start writing that book, basically,
Yeah.
or I will just stop writing altogether.
Yep.
And then same with like the other way around. Because like if I, the only way for me to make time to write, I can't read.
Yeah. I don't have like a specific cycle I go through. It's kind of like I'll read a good book. If it's really good, I might not be able to read anything for a while because I don't know, I just have trouble moving on. It pains my soul for some reason.
So sad.
Sometimes, actually, a week or 2 after I've, come off that book, I'll actually be very inspired to write for some reason, and then I'll get writing done. Sometimes I'm inspired right after I read. Sometimes books put me in a writing mood, and sometimes I just want to think about the book and not write. So it really depends. Yeah, I've had them take me out of a writing slump and also put me in it, so it's all good.
Yeah, so I said I'd go from writing to reading to nothing, but sometimes it could be reading to writing to nothing, because sometimes I'll read a book that then makes me very inspired to write a book. Normally, it's not the book I'm working on.
Yeah.
Normally, it's I'm going to go write a new book inspired by this book,
Yeah.
and then I'll do that, but it's writing.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes I'll feel the need to, rewrite my current project, and then the plot will start to sound a lot like the book I just read, but honestly, it really depends. So, this is us learning together a hypothetical good way to balance reading and writing, and it should be fun.
I have no ideas.
Okay. Off to a great start, guys.
Let's see.
Maybe there is no way to balance it. Maybe you just have to, go...
Maybe it's okay to not be balanced. If you go from one to the other, I think the way to balance it isn't to do them both at once. I think it's to make it so that your time reading is similar to the time writing, and your time doing neither is smaller or the same as the other
Yeah.
times. Which I don't do.
Yeah.
But
I think for me, schedules really help, and that doesn't go for everyone, but I think the times when I have been able to balance reading and writing really well is when I've had a specific time that I sat down to write and a specific time that I sat down to read. Sometimes it's when I have a lot of free time in school to read, and then I'll kind of just read during school, write when I get home. I also have to work, which has been challenging for me recently because I've gotten into more of like a work schedule, so, and that kind of like replaced my writing time because I often work when I'm most productive, but that's the same time I used to write because I'm most productive then, so that's a little bit challenging, but yeah, I guess I just have to move past that and figure out something new and rework my schedule a bit.
yeah, your work time is like, so like I'll go from school through Nordic, and by the end of Nordic, I'm just exhausted. If I have homework, I'll do it. Otherwise, I just go right to bed. So like, I need to
Yeah.
find a way to write or read.
Yeah, it's hard when you're a little bit busy because I have both like school, homework, work, and then reading and writing, but it depends on how much time I have after that. Lately, I've been trying to be more active, so I've been going to the gym and doing other athletic stuff, which is good for you, and you should do that too
Yes.
if you do not already do that, but like it also kind of cuts into reading and writing time. So I think part of it is just like designing a schedule that works for you where you can fit both in.
You might have to like incorporate, like if you could tie them all together. Like somehow you're mentioning of like being active got me to this point, but you could make it so like if you have a whole day free, let's just say. I mean, obviously we rarely have those days, but if you have a whole day free, and there's a specific book that you read that inspires you to write your current project. Maybe you read for an hour and then you write, and then maybe you read again, and then after reading, you're inspired to, oh, I should be active to train to survive this book I'm reading. So then you go
That's
do
fair.
that.
Yeah.
And then you come back to either read or write. Like, you know, you just
Yeah.
like tie it all together.
I've also been thinking about like this just hit me like audiobooks exist and you could listen to a book while doing something else. Like the job I do isn't very like mind consuming. I could probably listen to an audiobook while I worked. I could definitely listen to it when I went to the gym. It's just like I don't often listen to audiobooks, so I'd have to like get into that habit, but that's definitely like a way to combine reading at least with some of your other life, and you at least got one of those things checked off.
I've actually never listened to audiobooks, but now that I'm thinking of it, if I could figure out a way to like actually get into the headspace for audiobooks, it would help me get more books read in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And also, so like for me, doing my math homework is mindless, so I could listen to like the audiobook while doing homework.
Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes the narrator's voice just like bugs me a little bit. I'm sorry to all those
Yeah, I
audiobook
agree.
narrators out there, but some of them just like aren't great. Like sometimes their voice will just bug me, or they'll have like a voice for a character they use and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of stupid. But like
Also, though, I like to see how their names are spelled, and I like to invent my own version of their name, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like their version of the name, and I also don't, their voices. None of their voices are ever right.
Yeah, especially I feel like if the narrator is female and they're doing a man's voice, it often the voice just doesn't add up. I feel like they should just like talk all in the same voice, because
Or when they're a narrator and they're trying to sing a song. That happened when we were listening to the Hunger Games thing.
Yeah.
She can't sing. I'm sorry.
Maybe she wasn't trying to sing. Who knows?
Yeah.
No,
but
no
anyway,
hate to whoever
yeah.
had the Hunger
Oh,
Games.
it's okay. But yeah, I guess you just gotta find ways to read and write throughout your day.
Another possible way to balance it might be like having a reading week and a writing week, or if you're more like spontaneous, I guess, and schedules don't work for you, maybe you just have a period where you're like, hey, I really want to read, and then another period where you're like, hey, I really want to write, and you just go with the flow, and I don't know, as long as you get something done and it works for you.
Or maybe, like, at the beginning of each week, you say, I want to read 7 hours this week, and I want to write 7 hours this week. Yeah. And then each day, whatever you feel like, then you get as much done of whichever one you feel like, and then by the end of the week, as long as you finish both, you're good.
It's also possible that this is not, like, applicable to you and you're a reader who doesn't write or a writer who doesn't read. And
that's true, too.
That is just
then you don't have this problem.
Yeah, you just have to fit both into your schedule in some place.
Yeah.
I think that if you really think about your daily schedule, you should be able to... You should not be, like, so busy that you could never read or write. Maybe you can't do both in a day, but oftentimes there's some pocket of time somewhere in your day where you could do such a thing.
Exactly. If you just find like those little pockets of time, like maybe you take a commute to work or school, and then on that time you could read or listen to an audiobook, and then like spend your time at home actually writing, and then like on the go just have a book or audiobook on you.
Yeah. And it can be really frustrating because, especially if you're an adult, I know adult schedules are quite hectic. So maybe you just have to be kind of like, you have to forgive yourself a little bit for not like reaching everything you want to do, because maybe you can't reach your reading or writing goals in a year and you just have to make it like write 100 words this year. I don't know. But
you can always modify your schedule. So personally, I think schedules are very helpful. Mm-hmm. So you can make your schedule at the beginning of the day, and then if your schedule is really chaotic or whatever, you can modify it. Like, don't feel bad about modifying it or changing your goals.
Yeah. So I hope this was helpful for you if you are currently trying to find a way to balance reading and writing. I know this is not something Blair and I excel at, so I am sorry if this wasn't much help, but maybe you will take our advice and find it extremely helpful, or maybe you won't. Either way, I'll hopefully see you next week, and
thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.